Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of A World According to Tone. And this is going to be an unboxing. In case it's not super obvious here with this massive box next to me, this is the Hasbro Haslab Ghost ship from Star Wars Rebels. One of my favorite series of all Star Wars, honestly. Something I was really excited to back when we were able to about a year and a half ago. Finally just showed up recently. However, I fell ill with COVID a day or two after it arrived. And that was right around Christmas time, right before Christmas. So just unfortunately haven't been able to get to this. So now here I am finally able to do that. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to unbox this. I'm just jumping in with a massive unboxing like this that have no idea how this is going to go, but we're going to try it anyway. So here we go. Start with a handy dandy box cutter of some sort, right? That's what we're gonna do. It's somewhat out. Now, I've just gotten over COVID recently, of course. So, still gonna be catching up with energy, probably short of breath. It's also because I'm chubby. So bear with me at times as well as we go through this. Should be the last box. I can see what looks like the ghost box right here. A little bit of glare, but pretty cool looking so far, right? Huge old ghost sitting in there. Can't wait to bust this open. Important to mention that when the Haslab was there's some glare. When the Haslab was funded, not all the characters, I don't think they hit their full goal. They did really well. We got a lot of the goals. But what they did was afterwards, you were able to purchase Sabine and Chopper together. So that was pretty cool. So I got this on Hasbro. Of course, this came in months ago. So this goes with part of the set here. So you had to buy this separately, which is what it is at that point. Had to have them all, of course. So we'll dive into this a little bit later as we keep opening this up. But I want to make sure that I showcase that I do have Sabine and Chop as well too. Okay, time to start getting into this box. Now, what's unique about me opening this is, as a lot of people know, I am typically an inbox collector most of the time, especially my vehicles. This is the right size, they're 3.75 type of vehicles. I got a ton of them over here, but it's a lot of like old school vintage-ish from the 90s, early mid-2000s, some of those lines that I really love. They're in boxes at this point. They're not going to get opened simply because of the value. I'm not somebody that sits around and calculates all that, but at a certain point, it's something I do kind of like think about in the back of my mind, like, this has hit a certain threshold. Maybe I should not open this or whatever. So if I bought used ones or loose ones and displayed those, that's one thing. But being in box and displayed like that, especially the vehicles, they're kind of something special to me. I do, like I said, I keep those in the box. But this is planned to be displayed. So I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to do that. I got some ideas. I got a table. This is going to be pretty big, so it might be difficult. But I do have the plans of making sure this is on display at all times. I'm going to get it all out of the box in this sense, and then I'll put it under the cam, you know, when things will fit a little bit better. This is the instruction manual with all the pieces, how they go together, so we'll need to keep that very handy. All right, we'll see how this goes. I'm going to try and, because now as I'm looking at it, actually, might be a good time to switch over to the other camera and I can kind of lay out some of the stuff as I do this. All right, like I said, that's the instruction manual right there. Keep that handy. Pretty sure this is the main piece of the Ghost. Looks like it's probably like the middle section running long ways. So far, so okay? Meh. Okay, so still awkward, of course, because the sides of the box, but let's open it up here. A little close to the camera, I see. I've kind of got it all set. Ready. Holy shit. Whew. Okay. That is the cockpit right here. Or as my old friend Defects used to say, the cockpit. Yeah, it's certainly a little awkward. It's pretty massive. But here's the main midsection of the Ghost. Of course, here's where the Phantom would go, the small, like, pod ship. Nose gunner, cockpit. All right, we'll probably put this off to the side for a moment as we get some of the other pieces on here. We got some landing legs. There's the cockpit and gunner bubble. Huh. Some really awesome pieces for ship itself. Wicker chair, the Jarrett game, gunner, and a table. Nice little picnic table. Ooh, a meaty open. Okay, so pieces of the ship itself. Probably looks like the front part that goes alongside the cockpit. Run out of space. I didn't plan that very well. Ah, yes, the Phantom. It's funny, they got a little version of Chop in here too. Look at that. Which is kind of weird because you get Chopper. Somebody can go in there. Like Kanan or somebody. Which, like I said, the it's interesting because the box itself, you know, you can't really see me. the box itself that it can come with on the Ghost box says Ahsoka, because when this Haslab was going was when the Ahsoka show was dropping, if I remember correctly. Yeah, it was. And she's really not part of this figure line necessarily. You know, it's because it's got Kanan. It's really more the Rebel side of it. And I'm going to talk more about some of that here in a moment, but I want to start getting more of these pieces out first. But anyways, that's really cool. I could play with that for a minute already just because, you know, Phantom. I think it's Phantom 2, though. And I think that has something to do with the fact that they lost the first one, I want to say, in the Rebel TV series. So maybe it makes sense it's listed as Ahsoka. I think most people aren't going to associate this necessarily with Ahsoka, even though it was in it, which was awesome. But you know, most of us are going to associate with Rebels because you know, I mean, there's even a Kanan figure here. I will say, seeing it live action. Now, we saw the Ghost in live action prior, which was sitting on the pad there in Rogue One when they're in Yavin 4, the Rebel base. That's also where you hear General Syndulla over the loudspeakers, and you actually see Chopper for a brief minute fly by. Real brief stuff. And then that movie that exists, the third and the most recent, the sequel trilogy, I can't even think of the name of it, the Skywalker one. That's how much I guess I'm just not into it. But you see the Ghost show up with all the ships that Lando brings to fight off all the other Last Order or whatever they were on Exegol. Some pretty sweet thrusters. A little plastic on them, that's fine. We'll leave it on for now. 2 of those. I'm here, I swear. All right. The vertical thrusters as well. Not a lot of room around here, that's for sure. Okay. That is an empty box. No. All right. My assumption is clearly big parts of the wing, sides. I believe this is something to do with the tail. Not sure offhand. Yep, with all the pieces to the ship. On the sides, ooh. Usually similar to like the, Millennium Falcon on the side, like either a cargo connection. Pretty big piece. We're really gonna have to actually start using the floor. Did not bend it out well. Could be, I'd imagine that's the back end. And the last piece. I can already tell you, I'm not going to enjoy breaking down all this stuff. Taking it out to the trash. Some of it I might keep. I'll have to really debate that. Because, what if I sold it, right? Like, let's say the case of scenario that would never happen, but what if I sold it? What I want the box, and all these pieces to put the box into and take it apart. I don't know. I don't know that I would. I might keep the empty one, shell. We'll see. And last but not least, stretch goal pieces. There they are. There's Zeb. I think I just called Rex recently. There's Kanan with different heads. Oh, that's awesome. Get him out of here. Let's fully get him out of here, right? Let's do that first. Now, what's special about these card backs, they went for this vintage look and they went for the Rebels look. If you're familiar with the Rebels, it kind of traces back to the mural that Sabine made at the end. But also, I think you do see it at the end of one of the Mando, or something with Mando, or maybe in this Ahsoka series itself, like they're showing the mural, which the mural has always been really prominent as like the, I don't know, the symbol for Rebels, I guess. I don't know how to really explain that, I guess. Sabine's an artist and she made these show off everybody, and it's kind of like this, almost like a family portrait. There's Ezra Bridger. There's Hera. The one and only Kanan. R.I.P. Kanan. And then Zeb, of course. Zeb, now, this was one of the Ralph McQuarrie early sketches for what a Wookiee would look like. And they ended up using that later on. And that's a Filoni thing, going back to some of the Ralph McQuarrie stuff and changing it and making it, I guess, canon elsewhere. I believe the race is Lestat. But they were all in Lothal, which is the planet that they start in Rebels. And to talk about Rebels briefly, so and I'll probably talk about it on and off as I'm building this. Rebels is the best piece of Star Wars that has ever come out, whether that's comic, whether that's old EU, whether that's recent cartoon. It's one of the best animated series of all time for me. Not just being that it's Star Wars. It's a slow start, just like a lot of those type of series. You kick off season 1, and it really doesn't start moving until you're about halfway in that first season. But what makes Star Wars Rebels overall so good is that it's got the true heart and essence of Star Wars. It feels in every way Star Wars. It feels like explorative, growth, character development, family. It makes it feel like that they carved out such a small piece of the galaxy, and it fit into the overall arc of what was going on, because it kind of leads into the rebellion, Andor, all this stuff. They were really, it kind of how it end up getting canonized, which sometimes it's weird when you go back and do prequel stuff and try to recanonize stuff or canonize stuff and keep the same trajectory, but like give it more substance. Sometimes that's really hard to do. I think Rogue One did a really good job of that, even though it butts right up next to A New Hope, which I think surprised everybody. There was no space in there, and I'm fine with it. I love it, but Rebels does that as well too. Really just kind of gets involved with all that, and there's some crazy moments. This is how we got Ahsoka back in the series from being a young character in the Star Wars Clone Wars after 17 years or whatever it was, 19, 18, like I said, right before, about 5 years, I want to say, before New Hope, I think, is when the series technically kicked off. You got Thrawn in it, you got Darth Maul. I mean, I'm telling you, like, it's got everything that anybody could ever want. And I remember seeing Solo, which I'm a big fan of Solo too. I know that's usually a shock to hear that. I actually really like Solo. And we were leaving, and the scene at the end, after you see Darth Maul, there are people, like, just general public people who are Star Wars fans, probably on a movie sense, and that's it. Casual fans, which is fine. Like, didn't understand the Darth Maul thing at all. And it's like, well, you kind of got to watch the Clone Wars, kind of got to watch the Rebels. Like, it's all these things, right? Because Maul's technically still around. And this takes place, of course, after Solo in that timeline. Because Solo, I believe, is about 10 years before A New Hope, around 9 or 10 years or whatever. So this is a few years after Solo that Rebels takes place. And then you get Maul again as well, which is pretty awesome how he's involved. But the season finale of season 2 of Rebels, Vader's involved, and it is literally one of the best episodes of anything Star Wars, one of the best whatever it could be. Like, it's just absolutely incredible. I will go back and watch that episode from time to time, or just the last couple episodes of that season, just because it's so good. There is a scene in that at the end, before it really starts kicking off, where Vader is basically standing on top of his TIE fighter, and he's standing on it, lightsabers out, and it's just like, it's almost like he's using the Force to levitate himself down on top of it. It is fucking gnarly. So I'll pause on that for a moment, because I could talk Rebels for a long time. Very passionate about Star Wars Rebels, hence why this is all happening. So, okay, let's put these fellows off to the side right now. The Phoenix crew. Okay, let's start putting this bad mammer together. Not a lot of great, feel like the camera still could probably pull out just a little bit. Let's do that real quick. Did get a light. We'll turn that on. Gives a little bit more light to play around with. We'll see if this doesn't get in the way. All right. Clearly I didn't put this part on right. It's perfectly fine. We're gonna let it breathe some. This is so cool how detailed this is in here. Seats. Man. Man, oh man. I'm so excited. All right. Yes, we took it all out. Okay, so it's telling me first flip and put these pieces on. Okay, we're gonna do that. And there's a lot of folks out there that are probably like, why are you doing the instructions? I am an instruction manual detailed whore. I don't care if I can look at it and still do it. I will 110% double check. Ooh, cargo area. Double check what I'm doing. That's just how I roll. Okay. Okay. All right. Big one back there, okay. Short one there. Piece in the front. Gonna want the landing on here anyways, because as it's gonna be displayed, I'm gonna want that landing gear. Don't mind me. Booyah! Booyaka, booyaka! Now we've seen all the characters from Rebels now in live action, including Zeb. Zeb was in an episode of Mandalorian, I believe it was. Yeah, it's oddly, he wasn't in any Ahsoka, which is kind of a shame, to be honest. I mean, he's fully digital, so it's probably a little difficult. I get it. But still like to have seen him. Hopefully, you know, I know the Filoniverse movie and different stuff with Ahsoka and a season 2 coming on. I'm hoping that we get a chance to see Zeb too. All right, flipping. Time for some wings. First thought's going to be matching what's what. Cockpit. Front. I mean, I guess, are they wings? That's the question. Are they really kind of wings? Do know that I love this design of the ship. It's got those, I'm pretty sure it's a Corellian freighter. Off the top of my head, I don't recall. Because it looks very like Corellian made. Looks very like Millennium Falcon. I don't know if these are the same. They appear to be pretty close. Except for the scuffing, they look pretty identical. So I wonder. Yeah, there's this paint scuffings on it. That's the only difference. I wonder if I can refer to the actual picture. Okay, so the pictures don't really reveal which is what and what is what as far as scuffing. Kind of does. Yeah, I don't know. We will, we're just not going to worry about it. Maybe that's a detail that doesn't need to be so thought out. So, but, you know, it's me being who I am. I will think about nonstop. Either way. Woo woo. All right, we're gonna flip her around. Look at how girthy she is. Not snapping. Okay. Thruster time. Does snap in very nice. I do like that. Okay, thrusters are in. Okay. Top gunner. Progress so far. Now it's time for cockpit and belly gunner. Excuse me, not belly gunner. Nose gunner. Ooh. Starting to really look like the Ghost, huh? Feel like something that they should have had me do earlier. The actual nose gunner gun. There we go. Cool. This is not light. I can tell you that. Hokely dokely. Next. Seems more to it than you'd kind of think. At this point, really, it's just talking about the cockpit, the little pieces, the Phantom. So, let's see here. All right. Okay, it's talking about putting some of the pieces in, so we're going to play around with that for a moment. Now this is like the crew quarter area. So there's bunks in here as well, over here, up in the front. Bunks up in here. Put, figures up in here. Let's get some of the little pieces out. I think the shark. See, classically C-3PO and Chewbacca playing that game on the Millennium Falcon and A New Hope. I don't remember the bit with the wicker chair offhand, but I'm gonna put all these in here and they're gonna fall and move away anyways. But oh yeah, these are benches, little bench seats. Or not bench seats, excuse me, stools. Now, again, when the series started, there was a lot of things, even now, that I still look back and go, could have been cooler, but it wasn't, that's fine. Two of which I'll start with was, honestly, Ezra Bridger. I feel like Star Wars sometimes has this frustrating trope of when they create new characters, especially if they're younger, just to be dumb and annoying, which they're kids. I get it. It's for kids as well, too. This show, of course, grows into bigger than that, but Ezra Bridger was a little hard pill to swallow at first, much like Ahsoka was in the original animated Clone Wars cartoon. But even so much with Ezra building his lightsaber, which still had a blaster on it, it was like, what the fuck is this, right? But it all grows on you. That character especially had crazy growth, and it's because he had such great mentorship from Kanan, who, man, was such a next level like Jedi. He survived Order 66. Gosh, off the top of my head, I can't remember his actual name. Kanan is what he went by in the series. And even he had crazy growth. Like, all the characters had really good growth. There were some moments with Hera and Thrawn, and just so much good character growth for every character that was involved on this team. Zeb as well, with him and his people, finding them a new home. Sabine and her place with the Darksaber, and everything going on with Mandalore and her family, and, you know, some remnants of Death Watch, all this crazy stuff. Anyways, I digress. You know, again, it was really more about Ezra. But then the other big thing were the Inquisitors. Like, the Inquisitors weren't so bad necessarily. I mean, they're really not like Sith. They're just dark Jedi, I guess. But employed by the Emperor or Vader to hunt down Jedi during the Jedi Purge after Order 66. The biggest problem that everybody had with them, because the Grand Inquisitor was fine, live action, a little goofy, but was they could use spinning lightsabers, and you see it also in the Jedi Survivor series, but they could use them to fly like a helicopter. Even now, it's still pretty dumb, but, you know, you take some of the good of the bad, I suppose. Anyways, to continue here, so that's all the pieces for the Ghost there. The last thing really to do at this point is put the Phantom in. And of course, you know, maybe open up some of the figures and put them in as well. So let's kind of roll with that for a moment. Let's get this let's get the Phantom on this. Well, at least what we'll do is we'll get the Phantom on. We'll make it presentable like this, and then I'll show that off, and then maybe I'll open up some figures and kind of look at that and kind of add them in as well. Does showcase the Phantom. Of course, you can put a a figure in here, chop on the side, a really small weird chop, but there's also feet to it. How it lands, oops, apparently I can't figure it out. Little chop right there. Whoa, 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 whoa. The droid that probably has the highest kill count in Star Wars, technically. Homicidal Maniac. And, man, I'm not going to say that I like him more than R2-D2. But it's going to be hard to say that I don't. So... Now it's snapped in. Seems to be a little bit of gap here at the back, which is fine. I don't know if that's really a huge concern. Now I feel like the Phantom, and I could be wrong on this, the Phantom 1 slid in, and this doesn't. Maybe I'm crazy on that. But I mean, it is what it is. It's been a minute anyway since I thought about that. But all right, there it is. So that is the Ghost put together with even some pieces in it. No figures yet. I'll try try to showcase the best I can here. There's the back. No, I'm not gonna flip it. There's not much going on the bottom of this. It's pretty heavy as well too. Like I said, I'm gonna have some pictures at the end, and probably some extra, some sort of video maybe. I might just do pictures. I don't know yet. But okay, so now that we got a little bit of that off. Oops, moving everything. Let's open some figures. This is for you, Wenzilla. This whole thing, opening it up. Love you. Okay. I think it's fitting to start with Hera. She is the pilot of this beautiful, beautiful ship. I wish there was an easier way to open these without ruining the box too much. Because yes, I will keep the boxes. Because I am still a psychopath. I'm gonna literally have to keep like some sort of something with this for all the little pieces so I don't lose them. But that's her family heirloom. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit again. I can't remember what this is called. But it is like a family heirloom. It's like how Twi'lek, it talks about, I believe, their family history and their lineage. So that's cool. That was a big piece of the situation with Thrawn. This, they've got the fruit, which I can't remember. I can't remember this fruit either. We actually see it, I think, in one of the live actions as well. Probably Mando. And of course, she's got a little pistol. So, Hera, very soft plastic. I didn't really expect that. Holy shit. I don't really dig into, I don't open up 3.75, so maybe that's something that's been going on, but you can holster a pistol right here in her boot. Whoop, trying to drop it. Doesn't holster great. It's probably better if she holds it, I feel like. So that's what she's just gonna do. She had to fly this beautiful ship with one hand because she got a pistol in the other. Don't test your metal. That's for sure. Here's a very strong character. Played by Mary Elizabeth Winstead. Also, Ian McGregor's now wife. I think it was because on Fargo they met, they fell in love. I do want to point out that it's well known, not only Hera, but Mary Elizabeth Winstead are known for their donks, their bouteilles. This character certainly showcasing some bouteille. So there you go. It's got the awesome design on her Liku, the tentacles, I guess, basically of a Twi'lek. Awesome, cool figure here. Like I said, soft plastic's a little odd, but you know, either way. So you can see that. Bit of light in there. Nah, I got some more light here. Okay. Moving on. Keep these pieces somewhere for right now. All right. Next up, let's do Mr. Ezra Bridger. One and only. Interesting, got two different parts of his lightsaber. Does have a pistol with him. Of course, his Scout Trooper helmet that he had painted specifically. I believe Sabine painted for him. And then the Lethal Cat, which we've seen in live action now also. Pretty exciting. Pretty fun little bit. As a cat lover myself, big fan of, you know, that being a thing in Rebels. You know, a little nuance, but still pretty fun. I don't know if I'm going to use the knife this time. I feel like that was actually more of a hindrance. I don't want to ruin too much of the card backs. I do want to keep the card backs because I do love that mural. I do want to save the boxes. Even if I'm opening them, I'm going to save them at least. Don't yell at me, Wenzilla. Oh, he can wear the Scout helmet. Shut up. Now, this was later in the series, of course, when he got his hair cut. You know, he had it long for so long time. Interesting that they kept the pistol with him. The fellow that's playing him in the live action is definitely one of my favorite roles casted for this. It's much like, I think, you know, I don't have to go down that rabbit hole with Hayden Christensen, who was excited about to be playing Anakin and being Star Wars. Most definitely, the fellow that's playing, gosh, I can't think of his name. I should have prepared a little bit better some of these real life names, but he looks like Ezra Bridger, live action Ezra. Like, he was great casting, and not only that, like, he's also a Star Wars fan. He's very active on social media, very responsive. Like, anytime I've commented or said anything, I usually say, that's my Ezra. He likes it. Sometimes I think he's even said something. Like, awesome guy. Like, those are the type of people that I love, that when they get casted, not only are they good casting just from that stance, but they truly are appreciative and love that they're part of something like that. So we are definitely putting the Scout helmet on him right now, too. Absolutely. It's awesome. I didn't know that was going to be a thing. I'm excited about that. Sick. Sick. Lightsaber. We're going to do a double up. Now, he's got two because I think this is meant to be, potentially you could turn this into a blaster. It would bend, but I don't know. Very soft plastic. I didn't expect that. The material, again, maybe that's new with these figures these days. You know, I'm not somebody who opens 3.75 really. Typically, those ones I would keep in box because I like to display them on like the wall. It's always controversial, but it is what it is. All right, blaster in hand, can be holstered. Separate little piece there for, and of course, Lethal Cat. So let's get that little kitty some love. The Lethal Cat. Meow meow. So glad they gave him a Lethal Cat. And then, of course, Ezra as well. Pretty sweet. Lightsaber, okay. Moving on. Next up, Zeb. Good old Zeb. Him and him and Ezra were not fans of each other when the series started. And that was another thing that with the fruit, the Puifi fruit. I'm trying to remember the name. Harrison's Zeb and Ezra on a quest to get this specific fruit that she really wanted on Lethal, that she loves, and it was not necessarily just about the fruit. It was also to get these two to like see eye to eye, I guess. And in that little adventure, of course, they had to work together at some point, and you know, she tricked them into being a lesson, and here we are. Awesome character, like badass character. If you don't like Zeb, you're a psychopath. If you don't like any of this stuff, you're a psychopath, but you know, who am I to judge? One thing I will say as I'm opening this up, I just want to throw this out there, is like, I have been pretty boisterous, you know, talking to Wentzilla and probably a couple times even here on the channel, either B&B or whatever it is, like, Hasbro is Hasbro. I don't spend a ton of money with them anymore. Pretty big into the 6-inch black series, and as I continue to do these episodes, you'll see that being part of, you know, I'll probably talk about it more, but all I'll say right at this point is that, okay, so he's a little bit harder plastic, but he's got really good bendy joints, like really good, like socketed and multiple joint movement. Anyways, he's unique. His staff, so they gave you 2 pieces for it. That's cool. You can either use it as a staff or a gun. It basically in this form is a gun, and then it flips and it can be a staff. So anyways, they just oversaturated themselves with so many things with the 6-inch black series, which is what got me majorly into collecting this part of my life. And I don't really get a lot of them now at all. Honestly, I kind of stopped, just because they, you know, they get into the vintage, they do this, they do that. It's like, bro, pick a lane and stop, kind of thing, you know. So it's just you know, 3 months later you get a black series figure, and then it's a vintage card back, because some people want to open them, some people don't like the boxes. I like the boxes, I keep having the boxes, I know, the whole thing. But it's just they oversaturate themselves. I understand it's a business, but when you see some of the paints of even like some of these figures, like, you know, it's just like, no wonder people out there are doing their own thing with them and either repainting them, making them look better, because as the price has gone on up on them, the quality hasn't really gotten that much better. And they haven't released figures that people actually want. They keep trying to shove certain, you know, either series or characters down your throat. It's like, dude, why don't you let the fans vote on that? If they're gonna vote on it, that means they're gonna pay for it too, right? So let them have the ability to have a hand in it. And you know, they've done some Revens, Jedi and Sith version, which is awesome. They've done Dastila, they've gotten Malik, they've got Zalabar or whatever his name is, the Wookiee, but they've never done an HK-47 in 6-inch, you know, series black. So it's like, you've got an opportunity for these figures, man. Like, people want this stuff, and I don't get their mentality on it. They reuse some of their molds constantly. So listen, I digress. I could talk forever about it. The point is that I'm trying to get at is that me supporting a Haslab like this, one is rare because I really didn't think I would ever do it. This is a $500 Haslab, right? It's a big Haslab. It's a lot of money. And I'm not flexing by saying that. Like, I had just moved and almost didn't do it, but I had saved some, so I had a little bit extra, and I was like, I got to do it because this is my all-time favorite Star Wars series, even if it's 3.75. And there's Zeb. I just haven't really figured out how I want to display it. Looks more like he's got a long guitar and he's rocking out, but hey, whatever. You know, so he's so far, I think he's the best of these 3 that opened. He's a great figure. But I say that, and then, you know, I see the ghost, and I'm like, God damn it, I gotta get that one. I gotta get that one. And I'm so far I'm happy with it. Like, it's awesome. Like, it's definitely beyond my dreams a little bit on how big it is and how awesome. And it's bulky, and I'm gonna have to figure out how I'm gonna display it. But you know, that's first world problems. I'm glad they did it. I'm glad it. You know, there was a couple other Haslabs. There was a Marvel one I really wanted to have passed. It was the Ghost Rider Robbie version with the big car. They were asking way too much for it. Everybody was complaining about it. They were absolutely agree. It should have been 150, not like 250. If it had been 150, it'd have been supported easy. The Haslabs that Hasbro's doing for the G.I. Joe, I wish I was bigger into G.I. Joe. I've got some of the declassified and classified figures, only a couple of them because I just get my favorites. I wish that I cared more because their Haslabs, like the Hiss tank, have been amazing. I almost got the Hiss tank just because it was so good. And everybody, I mean, even their tiers, the price, everything is perfect for them. And they get funded and blow up out of the water. The first big Haslab that I remember that I almost got to and I kicked myself for not was the sail barge. They did the Star Wars sail barge. But I'm not that big into like the Jabba stuff. To a degree I am, but the sail barge I felt was like, man, really, like the sail barge? Like, I can think of other things that would be more fun for Haslabs personally. So anyways, that's me talking, and I can keep talking about that. So all right, so let's get Kanan open. This is Freddie Prinze Jr. says he don't want to do this character anymore. I wish that he would do it just one more time in live action for Ahsoka, even if it was like a blue glowy. You hear his voice in Rise of Skywalker, or whatever that last sequel trilogy name is, talking to Rey. You hear Ahsoka. Ashley Eckerson actually did that, because that was before Rosario was cast. Now, I want to say I love Rosario Dawson. I love her as an actress. I think she's actually, I don't mind her even as Ahsoka. But the more and more I watch, the more and more people talk about it, she just definitely, and I don't think it's her fault. I think it's the writing. She just doesn't feel like Ahsoka. Ahsoka was very high energy. She was very talkative, fast. You know, I know it's tricky when you're ambidextrous, and you know it's supposed to be more of a later, older version. So I do kind of see that working as well in Ahsoka, but it's just missing something. And I don't think it's all Rosario Dawson's fault, so I don't blame her. But I do definitely wish that it was more. I don't know. I don't know. I know they wanted a big name with it, and I'm still fine. Like, I'm not like I can survive with it. I just wish it was more. Ahsoka is debatably my favorite Star Wars character at this point. I'm a super fan, but digress. Okay, Kanan. So he's got two heads. So this was the Kanan we knew when he became blind, and again that last run, season 2, which was so good. He ended up getting blind at one point, and wearing this mask for a while. So, and then he shaved his beard and cut his ponytail, and I actually don't like that look. It was right before he found himself deceased, unfortunately, but he did have the mask. I do like the mask. I like this version of him. Pretty sweet. Got the gun, put the gun in the holster, because you don't need that. Oh, I see it's the lightsaber that can click on the belt. Ah, yes. Yes, the boxer. Okay, that's fine. Put the other head right there too. We're gonna find a little container to hold all that stuff, so but cool. Man, this is so many moments in Star Wars Rebels gripped you so hard. It might as well have been live action emotionally, and that's how well it was written, and that's why it's regarded with a lot of like core Star Wars fans as like the best that Star Wars has ever done. Very rarely do I come across somebody that's seen Rebels and say, I don't care about Rebels. Like, you care, you love it. Yeah, Kanan was something else. Like the moment where he sacrificed himself for the crew. Jesus. I mean, I can honestly tell you that I'm sure that there's a few of us adults out there that will or won't admit that there might have been tears at times throughout the series, but that was a pretty big one. So, okay, Once again, Kanan. A little more light. Probably didn't do that with Zeb. Let's bring Zeb back for a moment to be able to see him. Okay. Kind of moving along a little bit, I know. I feel like this is probably a little bit redundant and boring. But I wanted to showcase that I can actually open up action figures as well, so. And all right, Sabine and Chop. C110P Chopper. I said this one, so had to buy Hasbro, and yes, a Hasbro Plus member. I'm a psychopath. Because I do buy some stuff once in a while from them, and typically it's a little bit of Transformers. Actually, I don't get too deep into Transformers, but definitely once in a while we'll pick up a figure or two on that. Alrighty, so we're gonna start with Sabine. So we're gonna save the best for last, right? Now, if you caught my last video of World According to Tone, me painting the Manticore, the second part of that was a mess because of recording issues, this, that, and the other. So if you see me constantly looking over, it's because I'm constantly checking for mics. I'm constantly to make sure that everything's recording. So far, so good. Everything looks fine. Oh God, her hair on this looks awful though. It literally looks like she's got a Karen haircut right now. And it's always been kind of in that vein, but this is fucking awful. Oddly, they didn't give her the Darksaber. Surprised by that. There's her little arm shield. That beautiful helmet that I'm still kicking myself I didn't pick up. I still might pick one up at some point. I don't like my Captain Rex helmet, so. And Sabine is an artist, and for Phoenix Squadron, she created their symbol. She paints everything. She's got a specific way about her colors, and that's what makes her so unique. And like her, you know, Mandalorians always look cool anyways, right? You know, with their outfits, but she definitely goes a little bit extra because she paints everything that just kind of showcases who she is and her style. But she's amazing tech, very smart. Matter of fact, part of the reason she left Mandalore and left her clan was because I believe she was building and discovered it and realized afterwards she was building a super weapon or some crazy something for the Empire that was like a fucking brutal weapon, and she couldn't live with herself on it. So I don't know why her holstered her pistols. I'm kind of, I'm bummed they didn't give her the Darksaber. I don't know. It's kind of weird. That was cool when she came across it. I think people were kind of weirded out by the fact that they were trying to push her more Jedi and whatever in Ahsoka, and that she was kind of trained by Ahsoka at one point. I mean, I kind of understand that it was a shock to a degree, but like, she was training with Kanan with the Darksaber. The Darksaber is, whoever holds the Darksaber technically is like runs the clans of Mandalore. There's a lot of history with that, and when she ended up with it and came across it, it makes sense to me. Like, she's probably got some form of Jedi background. Oh, good. You can take her Karen head off and put the other one on. There we go. Perfect. Yeah, get that out of here. No, thank you. Yeah, that's sweet. There we go. This is for her jetpack. I'll just put it in wrong. No big deal. Boom. Looks like she got a little tail. Got her shield. Sweet. That is sweet. Sabine Wren. All right. Like I said, depending on who you are. Saving the best for last. 2 more Loft Cats? Oh, man. Forgot about that. The one and only Chopper. Whoa, 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 whoa. You thought that R2-D2 was angsty, mouthy, and very entitled. You have no idea then, if you're not familiar with Chop, how much he's not compared to Chop. He's a couple Loft Cats. Now I got 3 Loft Cats. Get out of here. Pretty sweet. All right. Meow. Awesome. Brown one. 3 little Loft Cat kitties. Extra radar, which I'm not even going to bother with. I'm not even going to pull that out, honestly. Oh, man. There he is in all his glory. Can he bend? Not really. Get the wheel down there. Man. There's a funny moment in the Ahsoka live action when him and Hera are taking off. They're in the Ghost. I think it's episode 3. And he says do something. And she's basically like, dude, we can't do that. That could kill like thousands of people or something. He's like, basically it sounded like he said something like, I don't give a fuck, or so what, or something there. It's just so you gotta see it. You gotta kind of know it in the character to hear it. I don't remember exactly what he said. I just remember like I probably was watching it with Rohit. I know we watched a couple episodes too, but I know we all we're all fans. We're like, ha ha ha, he was willing to fucking sacrifice all these people. That's fucking hilarious, but that's fucking Chop, man. Chopper. Sweet, dude. Sweet, sweet, sweet. That is so fucking cool. Hell yeah, Chop. Hell yeah. I feel like him and R2 did meet. I could be crazy. Man. Awesome. Awesome. Well, that's it. That is the last piece of this to unbox. I'm going to prep here probably for cleaning up for one. Again, hopefully you got some good views of this. I know it was a little tricky, the camera. I didn't plan it out, I suppose, just because of the size of it. I probably should have moved some things around. But I'll get some pictures in there. You got kind of an idea of how the box came, I feel like, I hope. How big it was, the scope, what we were dealing with, piece by piece. I know this was definitely a long unboxing. Probably longer than most that we would do just because of the sheer size and the sheer amount of things going on here. But I certainly appreciate, I mean, it looks good sitting here, right? I mean, that's fucking cool, right? God damn, that's a sexy machine. I do appreciate if you're able to take the time to go through this. There'll probably be some things that I speed up here and there as well. I know there's definitely some parts where it's just like, I don't know what the fuck is going on here. But that's how it goes, right? But man, I tell you, like, listen, it's not, and I'm not advocating for spending money insanely like that. You do you. I, don't have any, sometimes I don't have any good job of keeping myself in reins, but this is very special. I'm very excited about it. I don't buy big stuff like this too often. This is a special treat. I don't know if I'll ever get another Haslab again. This might be a one and done thing for me. The only thing I said is if they did like if they did more 6-inch versions, I guess, of Haslabs, then we'll talk. Especially if it was like a TIE Advance, like a Vader. God, that would be sweet. I said recently on one of Rad's podcasts, I said that I would love a 6-inch Black Series ATST, which would probably stand about this tall. That would be gnarly. that'd be something I'd be into. But I think because the sheer size of these things, they stick with 3.75, so I get it. It makes more sense that route. But man, I would I would go crazy on something like that. But and the Star Wars stuff, it's good. It's really hit or miss these days too. It's got to be specific things for me to kind of jump on in that sense. But you know, the G.I. Joe ones are awesome. Cool Haslabs. Those guys are eating good. Good for them. They've gotten some great Haslabs. Even the Transformer one that recently came out was just kind of like, I still got that figure. Like, it was kind of weak. Some of the Star Wars ones, I'm trying to think if there was a Star Wars one that didn't pass. The Sail Barge was pretty gnarly. Oh, the Razor Crest. There was a lot of people out there kicking themselves for not picking up that. And while that was cool, and I debated that as well, and I love Mandalorian. For me, it hadn't been around enough and didn't have that heart feeling for me, or that deep dive, I guess, or the love, or whatever you want to say, that I needed to feel that attachment to pull the trigger on something like that. That might have been 350 or something. I don't remember if it was even 5. But I'm glad this got funded, of course. I love the Ghost. I love, as you heard me talk about, my passion for the Rebels series. Matter of fact, it's probably going to prompt me to rewatch the Rebels series. I think it's a good time to start doing that on the side here. I absolutely, like I said, just absolutely love it. So, but that's that. So thank you again for visiting and hanging out with me doing this. This is pretty crazy. It only just took me a week and a half, 2 weeks longer than I wanted to, just because of the sickness. Hope everybody had a great holiday out there. Hope everybody's not sick. Hope you're doing well. Sounds like I've talked to a lot of folks that have recently gotten COVID, and it's my first time in 5 years actually getting it, and it was awful. But I got some Paxlovid, and we kicked it out at the end of the week pretty good. So, that's gonna do it here for me. As far as B&B content, we're gonna get back to something hopefully this month. Now that we're in the first of the year, new year, we got some things planned. We're gonna adapt some stuff. We'll again continue to talk about that when we're able. So if you follow us on our socials or anything else, or you're part of the community, or wherever it might be, just kind of keep a lookout, and we'll keep communicating that. Other than that, I've got another unboxing coming up here soon. I got another piece that just came in. I look forward to doing that, so keep your eyes open for that. And of course, just make sure to always watch our partners out there. 7 Dungeons every Monday, 7 p.m. is going live, telling great stories. Shadow Spark Chronicles, doing the D&D thing. If you haven't checked out even their streams, that's fine. You can check them out on Spotify. He works very hard on creating these great stories that players can dive into. It's really heating up. There are many episodes into that second session. And then, of course, throughout the week when he can get back to it, Half-Ass Beer Review has been really busy, but, go check out his past content on YouTube. He does, awesome craft beer videos, excuse me. And his shorts are amazing. That guy puts out some of the best shorts of anybody I know. So, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take some pictures of this and take it home at the end of this video here with some awesome photos. Maybe I'll get the characters involved a little bit as well. But again, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. This has been fun to do. Exciting. I'm excited to display this and show this off. But we'll see you real soon. Appreciate you.